Well, it has been fascinating, not just 24 hours in Australian basketball history, but it's been an incredible 7 days for the person I'm about to speak to, because last time 36ers family, you would have seen this man. He was on Zoom when we were at the Mark Davis Perpetual MVP, our Rookie of the Year, and of course, the joint MVP winner with Daniel Johnson. And now we can officially welcome to this chat Oklahoma City's number 6 draft pick. Wow, Josh Giddey. Welcome, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, Walshy. Thanks for having me.
It's pretty surreal. I want to break this down into a couple of parts, because at the time of us recording this, it's been about 12 to 24 hours since the Australian Boomers won the bronze medal in Tokyo, and you've been a part of that journey right up until Tokyo. So I wanted to get your insights, mate. Obviously, the pride of everyone connected to Australian basketball goes right through your family as well. And you were right there, mate, with the team until you had to come back to America. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, obviously it's a big day for basketball in Australia. Not just being the first medal, but I think you see how much it means to the guys that, played before this group that we've got, Drewy, Shane Heal, Brad Key, all those Boomers legends, and how much it means to them. Just, they could never, unfortunately, get that medal, but they set the standard through their time in the Boomers. And they raised that bar real high, and credit to this group that's won the medal. They met that standard, and they've created history, I guess, by getting the first ever medal in men's history. And it is a special day because these guys have worked so hard for that, and it's been such a long and tough road. I mean, you saw what happened at the World Cup when they lost in the last couple seconds, and I feel for those guys, and they really deserve this medal. So I'm happy for all those guys.
You've been part of that journey as well, mate. You got to wear a Boomers jersey for the first time in Brisbane a couple of years ago, but for yourself, can you give us a little bit of an insight for the people that don't know the drive of players like Patty Mills? We saw how much it meant to him, but also going through, there's almost every individual story when it comes to the Boomers journey. Dante Exum, who's been pretty much injured for the past 4 seasons. Joe Ingles, who's been part of a couple of campaigns. So it seems like every player that started on that camp over in the United States to what happened in Tokyo, they're all going to take an individual story out of it without forgetting the pathways which have been created for them, like you spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you see that with everyone. Everyone has a different kind of pathway to the Boomers. But I think the good thing about it is once you're with the Boomers, it's all one goal, and everyone kind of comes together and puts their egos aside and their past behind, and focuses on the goal at hand. So that's the really cool thing about being a part of that program is, everyone's on the same page, and there's no guys trying to do this and other guys trying to do that. Everyone's, focused on one goal, which is winning, obviously the gold medal, but in this case, winning the bronze. And it is good. I mean, seeing guys like Dante and those guys have their first taste, of an Olympic Games. And it's good for the future going forward as well, because those guys like Dante, Josh Green, Matisse, those younger guys are going to be a big part of the future for Australian basketball. So it is cool. And I'm really happy for those guys that they got this first taste of the Olympics, because, going forward to Paris in 24 is they're going to be a big part of the group. So it's exciting times for Australian basketball. And, I'm looking forward to how well it can progress over the next 10, 15 years.
It's very exciting times for Australian basketball and Australian basketballers. I think when we talk about Tokyo, we all have moments where we go, I know where I was when this happened. I know exactly where I was just over a week ago, and I was out doing my garden, and I'm not a handyman at all. I'm really bad with that kind of stuff. So thankfully I'm okay on a microphone. But what I kept doing was checking my social media, listening to live streams and going, when is Josh going to get drafted? And that moment finally happened, mate. Number 6 to Oklahoma City Thunder. And you're preparing to take on the Detroit Pistons in the Summer League, which is fantastic for you, mate. So I wanted to get your insight. We can only see so much and see probably portions of your journey after leaving the 36ers, but can you talk us through the lead up to actually being drafted right up to the point of giving the fist bump and handshake to Adam Silver?
Yeah, it's look, it's a really fun process. I mean, it starts months before the draft. You're talking with teams, meeting, doing workouts. In most players' cases, doing workouts. I obviously didn't get to because I was with the Boomers the whole time. So my pre-draft process was different from what it usually would look like. But the basic thing is I met with a bunch of teams. I did 2 workouts, and then we got to New York. They invite 20 or so people to the green room, which is, you know, you get to be at the draft night in New York, and you fly in a few days early. You do media, press conferences, photo shoots. You know, you have a lunch with Adam Silver and you know, all the kind of head office people. And then the day of the draft is really busy. You have to get up early. You've got media. You got a bunch of stuff. You got to get ready, do all that. And then about 3 o'clock, we got on a bus to go to Barclays, and it's about an hour drive with traffic and all that. And you get there about 4 hours before, and you get there, they split us in 2 groups, and we go on a red carpet. And half the group, you know, you going through, and there's just media everywhere. It's photos. There's like, you know, the NBA TNT crew's doing their show. It's like, it's a big kind of, you know, it's obviously a big event. It's the draft, but there's just people everywhere. And then you do that. Then your families, your agents rock up. They're at the table waiting for you. And then, so after we're done the media, we come back out, sit with our people at our table for about an hour or so before the draft. And then 8 o'clock, it's draft time, and there's cameras walking all around the floor, filming and interviewing people. And then 8 o'clock is when it starts, and Adam comes out, makes his first announcement, and then from there on, it's just like sit and wait for your name to be called.
It seems pretty surreal as well, because obviously getting an invite to the green room, so that must have been a moment where any doubt in your mind, and we're all human beings that we have doubt, where you go, okay, so this is obviously going to happen. Like that part of being drafted is going to happen, but then it's a matter of where, which also can change so much. So there was a little bit of talk about the Golden State Warriors being interested, and also the Memphis Grizzlies. But then as it got closer, perhaps due to your performances with the national team, the Thunder showed a bit of interest. So is that how it kind of plays out? Teams get more full on with their communication, and then you get to a point where, yeah, you have an idea if you are available at a certain pick, teams will draft you. However, you just don't know 100%, because anything can happen on draft night.
Yeah, it's that's perfectly said. I mean, you have an idea. I mean, you see the media talking, and you see when you talk to teams, you get a feel for, you know, how they rate you and what they see your fit being in the team. And look, with Oklahoma, for me, it was, I did a workout for them, and I met with them about maybe 2-3 weeks before that. I met with them in Chicago, and you know, I didn't really think too much of it. I just, you know, I met with them. It was kind of whatever. And then I did the workout with them, and it was like, from that day, I was like, this is where I want to be. It was like the workout, you know, I did another workout, and this is not a shot at any team or anything, but the Oklahoma workout was just so different. I had Sam Presti, the president of the basketball, was up clapping and getting around me. They were all clapping on the sideline. The head coach took me for the workout. So it was just, as soon as I saw all that, and that was the environment I was in, that's like when I knew Oklahoma was where I wanted to be. And but look, come draft night, I honestly thought, I didn't think I was going to go there. I thought 6 is probably a bit too high, and I've been reading media stuff, and no one was talking about me going to Oklahoma. But I guess I had it was in the back of my mind that it could be a potential spot. But I guess when Adam came out, and funny story is, actually my agents knew before me. They got, because Woj tweeted out early, so they saw it.
Woj gets it before Adam Silver does, mate.
Exactly. And I saw them whispering to each other, and I knew something was up. And then cameras started coming over to our table with about 40 seconds left on the clock, and that's when I knew that I was going to Oklahoma.
It's such an incredible thing that happened though as well, because obviously your dad wore number 6 and you wore number 6 for the 36ers, and then you get drafted number 6. Now 666 obviously has a bad omen, so we'll get to number 3 in a second. Yeah. But your name gets called out, which is awesome. There's partially a live crowd there, so you hear some cheers and stuff, which is also cool. But then you go up there. I wanted to ask, when's the moment then that it clicks for you that this is really happening? Is it that moment there, or is it when you sit down and you have a look at your locker, or you see the jersey with your name on it? Because you've been growing up idolizing NBL players with posters on your wall. Then you go to NBA players with posters on your wall, but now you're part of that. So when's your moment?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's definitely not the night of, you're so caught up in, it's hard to put into words when it really clicks, because there's so much going on. Like, you get drafted, you go straight into TV interviews, ESPN, radios, blah, blah, blah. And then you go out for dinner and you're out late that night, celebrating, and you have to wake up early, fly out. So everything's happening so quick that you don't really get time to sit down and kind of let it sink in. And it's probably not really till the last couple of days that it's really started to sink in that, I'm going to be an NBA player. But the night of is definitely not. I mean, you realize that your dreams come true, but you don't fully grasp the idea of that you're actually an NBA player. But it probably hasn't been till the last couple of days that I've fully kind of soaked it all in.
We've always admired the way that you've carried yourself, mate. And I'm old, so I can say it, but for a young man, the professionalism and the humility that you've always showed shows what a genuine and authentic person you are. So the way you carried yourself in all of the interviews on draft night speaks volumes of your family and how they've raised you as well. And it must be really special for them that you're going to be close to your sister as well.
It is. This was like, look, Oklahoma before the whole drafting, we're like, this would be a dream scenario. My sister's down the road. I'm in Oklahoma, perfect world. But it's actually happened now, which is really cool. So to have her down the road and my family in town was really special for me. And draft, I think they deserve a lot of the credit as well, and I think they deserve to enjoy that night and that process with me as well, because so much of where I'm at today, falls onto them and the sacrifices they made for me when I was young. Driving me around everywhere, cooking food, washing clothes. A lot of credit goes to them, and I think it's a good week for them to get to enjoy that moment and hear my name called as well. So I think they deserve it just as much as I do. And obviously to be in Oklahoma is perfect as well, just because the whole family can be together at once. And Hannah's just down the road. So this was exactly where we all wanted to be. And it's exactly where we all are.
You spoke about Sam Presti. Oklahoma have about 1 million first-round draft picks, and what that shows is the potential for growth is amazing. And for you as a player, as a rookie going into the system with someone like SGA, who's one of the best young players in the league, is absolutely outstanding. And obviously his commitment to the side's brilliant. But the potential for you now is to not just be part of the roster, but to get some minutes, and you'll be able to experience that in the summer league. But I'm sure that excites you as a basketballer as well, to be able to go get your deal and then have the opportunity to play minutes. And the hard work starts now.
Yeah, it does. You obviously do so much work leading to this moment, but it's like you've got here now, and it's like it's not time to relax. This is as you say, this is where the real work starts. So and obviously the team we've got is unique. I mean, it's a really, really young team. It's exciting. I mean, having Shai sign a max extension, the young piece we've got, Lou Dort, Baisley, those young guys, it's exciting. And this was something I wanted to be a part of going forward. And I think we have the pieces to build a really, really strong team. And I'm excited for it. And obviously playing with someone like Shai is going to be good for me, because he's obviously he's an all-star type player, but it takes, obviously in Adelaide, I had the ball in my hands a lot. But playing with someone like Shai, it takes that pressure on me having to handle the ball all the time. And I'm really excited for that. And to play alongside someone like him is only, I think, going to make me better. And not just in games, I think competing against him at practice as well. And the other young guys we've got, I think it's only going to be beneficial for me. So I'm really, really excited to play with him.
Shai's a fascinating player because his name struggles to fit on the back of his jersey. Now, your name doesn't struggle to fit on the back of the jersey, but obviously number 6 is taken. So how did you get to number 3? Is this a choice that you made? Is it it's a multiple of 6, you can divide it by 2 and you get to 3? Or is this just, this is available, let's go for it?
Well, they asked me literally 20 minutes after the draft, and I probably wasn't thinking too much about it. And 6 was taken, so I think it was either 3 or 9, and then it was like all higher numbers. So I just stuck with 3. There was no reasoning behind it. It was just the lowest number that was available.
I want to ask you about the NBL and the 36ers in a second, but how are you feeling about your first summer league game? You're taking on the Pistons, and then obviously they've got Cade Cunningham, who's the number 1 draft pick, and he's part of their roster. But for yourself, this is now another stepping stone for you and another opportunity to go, I'm here. It's time to show what I can do. People know how I've operated in Australia and for the national team, but here I am.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I've been waiting for. I mean, to put on that Thunder jersey and get out there tomorrow night, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's been such a quick turnaround from the draft to here. It's literally been a week. So, the group we've got, it's a fun group to be around and to play with. And I'm excited to get out there tomorrow night and start competing with them. So, as I said, it's a really quick turnaround. So we haven't had a whole lot of time to prepare, but I'm sure many of the other teams are, in the same boat as us. So, no excuses tomorrow when we get out there. We'll be ready to go, and I'm looking forward to it.
And you're really fortunate, mate, because you spent the past 12 months playing with men while a lot of other draftees have been playing in college or high school. So for yourself, I wanted to talk about the NBL, the Next Stars program, and of course, our Adelaide 36ers to finish it off, mate. You spoke about your gratitude on draft night and in the lead up, but I'm sure the 36ers fans want to hear, how grateful you are to be part of not just our club, but the history of the NBL to lead you where you are today.
Yeah, look, the NBL at the time it was NBL or college, and I was really set on college. And then I started thinking, I came back home from my visit, and I just completely changed my mind. And I'm like, the NBL is where I want to be, and I think it's going to fast track my development. And that's exactly what it did. The second I got to Adelaide, it was just like I knew I made the right decision. And from day one, I was like playing against grown men as a 17-year-old. I was getting coached by NBA experience. And it was just such a professional environment to be in. And it was not just that. It's like my sole focus was basketball, whereas college is like, you have school, you have parties, all the college life stuff. So I think being at Adelaide was the best thing for me. And I give a lot of credit to Connor, Jamie, front office people, Jeff Van Groningen, Grant Kelly. They played a massive role in my development throughout the 8-10 months I was with the 36ers. So the NBL has done a great job of putting their next star pathway together. And I think, we've seen it before me. It was LaMelo, RJ, those guys coming through that really brought the attention to the league. So I was fortunate enough to come into the league at a time where the bright lights were on it from those guys. So, the league, I give a lot of credit to them, but, Adelaide's was kind of the building block for me, and they developed me, and Connor allowed me to play, allowed me to make mistakes, and he was probably the best thing for my development. So my teammates as well were awesome. The whole city of Adelaide was great. The fans were the best fans in the league. So it was an awesome place to be for that 12 months.
Mate, it's a pretty surreal thing on draft night to see all of your highlights, and behind Adam Silver, we see a photo of you wearing a Sixers jersey, and it makes us simply proud, mate. And I can't stress this enough, what the impact that you have had on the city of Adelaide for the Adelaide 36ers, but also we couldn't be more proud because of the way that you carry yourself as a person, and we can only wish you all the best. What's exciting is that we know the hard work is going to continue, because that's what happens when you're playing in pretty much the biggest league in the world. But you've earned your spot, number 6 in the draft, and you are going to continue to do yourself, your family, and the organization of the Oklahoma City Thunder proud, mate. We're going to send over a top if that's all right. And if you are able to sign a number 3, we'll be able to give that away. But Josh, congratulations, mate. It's been an outstanding journey. And as you know, it's only just beginning. So good luck, and we can't wait to see you progress, man.
Legend. Thanks, Walshy. Appreciate it.